we did not have the benefit of being colonized by white people.
But one thing you've mentioned that was very formative was actually a trip to Africa you took.
Yes, it was on that very trip. I was in Senegal for a while, I was in Ivory Coast, and at the time Ivory Coast was doing very well. Ivory Coast, it certainly wasn't the first world, but people called it the Japan of West Africa because it was doing so well. I hitchhiked to the border of Liberia. And across the border, all of a sudden there was just this dramatic transformation. Everyone was in rags. There were potholes big enough to swallow a Mack truck. All the buildings were tumbled down. And as was my practice at the time, I was 19 years old. I went to the capital and I went to the university because you could always meet interesting people, young people. And I asked one of the men I met there, I don't mean to be rude, but why is your country such a mess compared to Ivory Coast right next door? He said, oh, that's an easy question to answer. We did not have the benefit of being colonized by white people. And at the time, as a 19-year-old liberal, I was quite horrified. I'd always thought, or I'd been told, colonization was this ruthlessly exploitative thing. I suppose I'd never thought about it, but if you'd asked me, I would have imagined that the Africans would have invented nuclear reactors and jet engines if we'd just left them alone. I was full of silly ideas, but this guy, to put it so bluntly, that quite staggered me. Yeah, I didn't immediately turn into a race realist, but that was, in retrospect, one of the channel markers on my path to late in life enlightenment.